Hello, good morning, and welcome to Thoughts and Updates for this week. I have a friend who has just arrived at my feet and is just about to run away. There he goes. This is who we call Tommy Cat, not a cat that our smudge likes, because TC comes and spends his days wandering about. We hear round the houses. He's from a house close by, and he's one of the friendliest big cats that I've ever come across. He is just a lovely little personality, but he does like to come, as cats do, and wind up other cats. So yesterday we found him in a house. He is not shy by any stretch of the imagination. So this week, spinning swiftly on. In terms of writing this week, of course, it's been a huge week in boxing terms, particularly in British boxing terms. Even my youngest daughter was telling me that her stepdad was watching Josh Warrington's fight last week, and there was this world champion who just was completely knocked out. Last night, Pretty Boy Kelly, Josh Kelly, was also defeated by David Avanesian after a huge amount of build-up, which was really tough to watch. These are fighters who are supposed to be the elite of our boxing fraternity and are not managing to step up to their next level. Kelly, once again, like Ted Cheeseman, like Lewis Ritson, as I wrote yesterday, is getting to European level and is faltering despite all of the promotion behind him. Is there a problem in British boxing? Are we overhyping? Does Eddie Hearn say too much? Well, one of that at least is particularly true. Also, I've just finished a tribute to Davy Lee Armstrong, who died of dementia, a tremendous amateur boxer in America, as well as looking at, in terms of American politics, the way in which the Biden administration have come out and said the right things. Once you've said the right things, can you back it up with doing the right things, is the question. So, also writing for the Scottish Football Supporters Association. It is a big week this week. The book is almost edited and finished. There's a couple of places that still need to send in why I love my club, in terms of places like, I think it's Queen's Park, certainly. Also Livingston, I think, as well. So there's about 3 or 4, not many. I've also got up this morning the one on Jim Goodwin from last week, and I've just written about Ross McCrory, the striker up at Aberdeen, talking about stinkers, and also the musings of why it is that Nicola Sturgeon may have mentioned Celtic, and why it is that when we mention as writers one of the old firm, that we find ourselves feeling that we have to mention the other, and is that a right and proper way of dealing with it? I don't know. Anyway, things I've also reviewed this week include a fantastic piece from the Royal Conservatoire of Scotland. My son has also got an interview on their alumni newsletter, but also, again, looking at stuff that has been coming in, which is the Space online at the Space. Season 2 is still up there. Shedinburgh is coming back in terms of online material. So there's plenty of stuff out there to watch, and I've seen a couple of things. Celine, a brilliant piece by Royal Conservatoire of Scotland students. I loved it, absolutely loved it, and would recommend it very, very highly. There are things about it that are not perfect, but in terms of the stage that they've got to, particularly in the way in which they use film and the visuals within it for the city of Glasgow, was tremendous. Now, things I have learnt this week, I also put up a blog this week about the Seyi Omooba tribunal, which was the young actress who took the role in Colour Purple. She had worked down, I'd seen her down in London, perform alongside Kieran many years ago now. It's a few years since Junkyard, but she had accepted the role of Celie and then been sacked because they discovered that she was homophobic. I feel very sorry for her, because it looks as though her career has come to a stuttering halt because of what she believes is what she was arguing. It's not true. It's because of the way that she went about things, and that was clear in what the tribunal came up with. And they said that because she had accepted a role that was traditionally a gay role, and she had known that she was not going to play it, that both her agents who dismissed her and also the company who sacked her were absolutely right to do so in order to save their reputations and their jobs, because she hid the fact that she wouldn't have played it had they wanted it played gay. And it led to a few things as well. I've seen some stuff online about a debate in terms of how auditioning and casting within Scotland is done. This is a frustration. I can think back to the 1990s, where stars of naked video, naked radio, your Elaine C. Smiths, your Andy Grays, your Jerry Kelly, were, in some people's eyes, the mafia that was running Scottish theatre. Remember John Murtagh, when he became artistic director, opened auditions to all actors to come down to Borderline. We didn't quite follow that one through the way I think that John had wanted to, but it was a watershed moment for some actors, because what they found was that they were going to an open audition for a theatre company, one of the big theatre companies in Scotland, with the hope that this was going to alter and they weren't just going to see star vehicles with star names, but people had a fair crack of the whip. Now, it would appear that if you don't go to the Royal Conservatoire of Scotland, you're not necessarily going to get an audition, and that is a real blow to those who have found another way, another drama school route, or indeed another route to getting into the profession. Remember that Martin Compson never went to drama school. Robert Carlyle, I believe, left drama school because he thought in his own way it was a complete load of rubbish. So are we missing a trick? Of course we are. Now, aside from just people who graduate from colleges or who have done a bit of really good work within community theatre, or they've got the opportunity to do certain things and they find that opportunity thwarted because they didn't go to the right drama school, take all that, bundle it all together and find yourself in a position where you're disabled, or you are of colour, or you're gender fluid. Then you're not just at the back of the queue, often you're not even in the queue. People won't see you because they perceive that whatever it is that you have can only be boxed in somewhere that would allow you to perform like that person. So if a role doesn't necessarily have a wheelchair in it, then it should be done by an able-bodied person. If you have a wheelchair, you can't play a role that is non-specific in terms of whether or not you should have a wheelchair. That's utter nonsense. If you watch Crypt Tales on the BBC iPlayer, you will see the amazing ability of people in our communities, our theatrical and in artistic communities, who are disabled. And I remember years ago, people talking about changing it to be alternatively disabled and all the rest, alternatively abled, and all the rest of it. And I get to understand that, because the language is something that people hear first. They hear the dis before they hear the able, and therefore they pigeonhole them. And it's one of the frustrations that I've had in terms of LGBTQ plus I, which I kind of sometimes feel as though people are being pigeonholed. But on this occasion, it is absolutely right that people stand up and go say, while you're having a debate about something, then be inclusive. After all, isn't that what we're all supposed to be? So the idea of this culture emerging chimes for me like the culture that's been talked about down in England in terms of working class people not having the opportunity to get anywhere, because remember, drama schools charge you for auditions. So you're 30, you're 40, you're 80, you're 100, whatever it is, on top of travelling to these auditions, being one of several thousand people with a possibility of just once again getting a rejection letter and finding your overdraft doesn't quite cover the next audition fee, is a reality for many, many people. So going to their local college is the only option that they've got. And whilst it is absolutely wonderful and amazing that people are looking at the likes of Lungha, Sounds of Progress, and others as positive steps for disabled actors, it can't just sit in that pigeonhole. It's got to expand out. We cannot be triumphant because Liz Carr got a role in Silent Witness and then sit back and go, do you know what? We're good at this. No, you're not. You're starting this. So not only, and remember the Equality Act 2010 was supposed to have a part for those from socio-economically deprived backgrounds, as well as gender and all the rest of the protected characteristics like disability. So we should have had the same protection. People who come from areas that are unfashionable until people with money move in and suddenly they become sought after. Well, the people who came from there originally should be equally sought after, because as Martin Compston has chosen, as Robert proven, as Robert Carlyle has proven, we miss a trick if we don't turn our head to where the ability actually is. So, with that thought in mind, I hope that what we see is a decent debate which leads to the one thing that it should lead to, and that's change, and not looking at people who come from other places as if they should never be there. If the arts are for all, then they truly should be for all. So, till next time, bye for now.